Hello there. My name is Phil Osophical, and I'm going to be reading a little bit of Spontaneous Evolution. This is a phenomenal book which I highly recommend checking out. It's by Bruce Lipton and Steve Bhaerman. So, to start out, there's a quote from Swami Bhayandananda. It says, "I have good news. There will indeed be peace on earth. I sure hope we humans are around to enjoy it." To paraphrase American revolutionary Tom Paine, these are soul-trying times. Madness and dysfunction seem inescapable. We used to imagine getting away to a desert island or mountain retreat to live somewhere in quiet sanity. But now, the whole concept of a way is meaningless. There is no such place as a way. National borders, for example, couldn't contain the radioactive fallout from Chernobyl, nor can air pollution from China be stopped from blowing across Asia. Toxic medical debris dumped into the water somewhere washes up and pollutes beaches somewhere else. The air we breathe and the water we drink are all part of a delicate, interrelated ecosystem. Yet, the current system we live by, the human ego-system, if you will, is simply not equipped to deal with these inconvenient realities. Albert Einstein stated that a problem couldn't be solved at the same level it was created. Never has that assessment been truer than today, when all our reality checks are bouncing. Clearly, we can no longer solve our problems by doing exactly what we've been doing. More weaponry doesn't bring peace. More prisons doesn't reduce crime. More expensive health care doesn't make us healthier, nor does more information make us wiser. In lieu of focusing on the crises, we are encouraged to escape into addictions and distractions conveniently placed before us to keep us preoccupied and passive. But reality keeps intervening. Everything in the world seems to be rolling towards some inexorable, beyond our control crisis. Those of us with children and grandchildren are concerned as to what kind of world we will leave behind for them and their children. In early 2007, the so-called Doomsday Clock, the marker that the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists has used since the first atomic bomb was dropped in 1945 to measure the danger of nuclear holocaust, was moved up to 11:55 p.m., a mere 5 minutes before midnight. This is the closest it's been to the Doomsday Hour since 1953, when the Soviets exploded their first hydrogen bomb. The last movement of the Doomsday marker reflects not only the increased threat of nuclear war, but also threats to our survival from deterioration of the biosphere, oceans, and climate, what Lord Martin Rees, president of the Royal Society, has called threats without enemies. Actually, there are enemies, but these enemies are in the form of false, self-perpetuating mindsets and the obsolete institutions based on them. In the face of disturbing news reports that the impact of global warming is coming sooner than expected, combined with intransigence by a system that doesn't want to change, it looks more and more like the world needs a miracle. The miracle would be something akin to the spontaneous remission of an advanced terminal condition. After assessing civilization's plight using insights offered by cutting-edge scientists, we are happy to report that there are indeed golden opportunities hidden in the dark clouds of this crisis. Those willing to face the music and dance together will be the ones who will help transform the threatening crises we face into awesome opportunities. The spontaneous remission we seek appears to be contingent upon a spontaneous remissioning of civilization, through which we change our mission from one based on the survival of the individual to one that encompasses survival of the species. This is our fundamental evolutionary mission, our biological imperative. Achieving this remission necessitates assumptions our civilization accepts as true. Those beliefs we find inadequate or incomplete must be revised so that the new awareness is incorporated into civilization and becomes our new way of life. Once we understand what science is now revealing about who we truly are, the structures that have kept us from that truth will crumble and a new path will present itself. It is our intention that spontaneous evolution bridge the gap between what we now know, and what we will need to know in order to manifest a spontaneous remission. Ironically, some of the new insights offered by science are so far outside what we've accepted as conventional wisdom that science itself is having a hard time coming to grips with the implications. In other words, if you suspect that reality isn't what it used to be, you're in good company. So strap yourself in, keep your eyes open, and hold on tight, because we are about to experience the adventure of a lifetime. When we realize our role as awakened and aware cells in the body of humanity, when we all participate in and fully experience what may be the most profound and pivotal moment in the history of the planet, then we will witness a new order spontaneously emerge out of chaos. How do we know? The science tells us so. Oh, really? If this new reality is truly upon us, why do things seem to be getting more chaotic and disconnected? The answer is that these crises are simply symptoms, which is nature's way of informing us that our civilization has pushed the biosphere to its limits and must now consider a new way of life in order to sustain our existence. We know things cannot continue in the same way, and we are frustrated because there appears to be no pathway to lead us anywhere else. Interestingly, the way out isn't a linear path. If anything, it is likely represented by a higher level of consciousness that must be attained by a critical mass of the population. Maybe when the real rapture comes, we won't have to fly into the sky and leave our clothes behind. Maybe we can stay right here on Earth, fully dressed, or not. Rather than being beamed up by Scotty, perhaps all we need to do is beam Buddha down. Now at this point, if we were you, we'd be saying, boy, this spontaneous evolution stuff sure sounds good, but how can we know that this is not merely some wishful pie-in-the-sky thinking and that it actually represents a real possibility? This is exactly the question that the rest of spontaneous evolution addresses, and the place to begin is with evolution itself. And so this book goes on to explain lots of cutting-edge science and how these new scientific theories are confirming these ancient spiritual insights. And it's an extremely amazing book. I'm going to be making lots more videos on it. It's also available in CD form where the two authors discuss the ideas. They're not reading straight from the book. So I very much recommend checking this out. It's amazing stuff. Peace.